Hello, it's Anna Beckwith from Yara Consulting here. What I would like to do today is ask you a question. Who do you think you are? No, seriously, who do you think you are? More to the point, how do you choose to define yourself and who you aspire to be? A couple of things have occurred in training programs that I've been delivering recently which lead me to conclude that quite often we allow other people and other things to define who we are, and in so doing often to limit who we are and limit what we can do. And I wanted to bring three of these things in particular to you today. The first thing is personality profilers. We love it, don't we? We love filling out those things in magazines and newspapers that at the end of the questionnaire will tell us who we are. And of course in a business context there's some extremely well researched and well thought out personality profilers that are there to guide and develop our self-awareness. Here's the thing. Whether it's MBTI, whether it's Belbin Team Roles, Gallup Strengths Finder, Hogan assessments, whatever it is, these profilers have been very, very carefully developed to tell you who you are to an extent so that you can recognise your skills and leverage those skills and strengths, and so that you can identify weak points where you can develop and grow, or potentially where you can compensate by maybe leveraging the skills of another person in that weak area for you. They are not there to paint you into a box and throw away the key. A couple of times recently people have said to me, looking at their personality profile results, have said, well, this is really limiting because it's telling me that I'm good at this and I'm no good at that. And actually that's not what it's doing. Remember, these profilers are only telling you about a bit of you. They're not purporting to explain the entirety of your character. Now, let me go off on a bit of a tangent here and then I'll come back. I've got a friend who's an art teacher, and a little while ago I was talking to him about learning to draw. Now, I cannot draw to save myself, but I found a book a few months ago, Drawing on the Right Side of the Brain by Betty Edwards, that claimed to be able to teach people how to draw. And it did. I'm never going to be a great artist, but I can draw better now than I could to start with. I was talking to my friend about this, and he made the point that in order to be an artist you have to have talent, but everyone can learn to be better than they are. And this, to my mind, is very relevant when you look at personality profilers. Yes, in order to be good at certain things you have to have talent and abilities in a particular area, and that's what the strengths are telling you. But everybody can learn to be better than they are in those areas where there's a bit of a development need, shall we say, a bit of a weakness, something to bear in mind. So when you're filling out personality profilers and you get the results back, do not allow these to define you. Allow them to inform you. Another thing that I would suggest being very aware of being defined by is actually sweeping generalizations. I was invited quite recently to a women's networking event. It was actually a great event, really good speaker, great venue, and it was interesting to me to listen to some of the women there speaking and saying things like, well, as a woman I face these issues. Now, I'm not going to diminish some of the issues that women feel that they face, and indeed in many parts of the world, in many organisations, there are issues faced by women specifically because they are women. What I would question sometimes is, are you really facing that issue because you're a woman? Or are you just facing that issue? I'm a woman, I'm mixed race, I'm an English woman living in Scotland. I know that sometimes I will go to deliver a training course or a workshop in a very male-dominated environment where my accent is not the same as the people who are in the room, and I know that they are trying to define me and they're making a judgment on me on the basis of those things. My focus is on my purpose and the message I want to put across. The fact that I'm a woman, the fact that I'm not from here, the fact that I'm the right colour, the wrong colour, from the right area, the wrong colour, too old, too young, is not even on my radar. My focus is on my purpose and my message. So I would just invite you to challenge yourself. If ever you feel that somebody is telling you that it's because you're a woman, because you're too old, you're too black, you're too white, challenge yourself. Is it because of that? Or is there something else going on? Are there other issues for you there? Don't allow other people to put you in a box and define you because of who they think you are. The third thing is qualifications. Now, I was delivering a workshop quite recently and there was somebody there who was actually quite a senior person within the organisation, and he was actually quite insecure because he didn't have the same qualifications on paper, an MBA, a PhD or whatever, as some of his other senior colleagues, and he was actually a little bit embarrassed about this. Eventually, in the course of the conversation, we asked him to consider the possibility that the fact that he didn't have these qualifications was a source of encouragement for other people further down the business who could look at him and say, do you know what, if Bob has worked his way up through the organisation without a piece of paper to say he can do his job, then so can I. Just asking him to consider this from a different angle. Don't allow a lack of qualifications to limit you. Again, I'm sure we all know people, I certainly do, who you go into their office and there's an array of pieces of paper on the wall telling you how good they are. Some of them are really good, and frankly, some of them aren't. Again, you are not defined by the piece of paper that you hold or do not hold. You are defined by your ability to implement and use and pass on the knowledge that you have. So just 3 things there, and following on from those is the most important question. How do you choose to define yourself? How do you choose to define who you aspire to be? And that's what I'll leave you with.